Good evening, buenas tardes, bienvenidos a ¿Qué pasa, Mujer? Welcome to ¿Qué pasa, Mujer? We're here every Sunday at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Estamos aquí todos los domingos a las 4 de la tarde. Today we're going to talk about some financial planning for the holidays. And of course, as you guys know, we have Maddie, she's our financial expertise guru. Hoy vamos a estar hablando de las financieras, de las finanzas y cómo explorar bien las finanzas personales para poder hacer buenas decisiones con el dinero durante los días festivos. So we're going to go ahead and bring Maddie on. She's going to tell us a little bit about how her week was. And I love it when you wear like black and red. It's just so vibrant. I love it with the curls.
Yeah.
¿Cómo has estado esta semana?
Buenas tardes, ¿qué pasa, mujer? This has been an interesting week. As always, very busy. I think that's just kind of like a normal part of our weeks. But very grateful, first for having making it through the week, but also had a great weekend so far. So yesterday had a entire day of performing. So I had 2 events. So was one of the performers at a book lounge yesterday, and it was a book kind of geared towards domestic violence and self-love, self-awareness, and things like that. And it was wonderful to be in a room full of performers, hearing the stories, and kind of puts everything into perspective. And then in the evening time, got to watch a poet from Baltimore that came down to perform here. His name is Black Chakra. He's a champion, and he's amazing at what he does. And it just kind of puts the fire in you and be like, oh, I want to write more poems. I want to write a little bit better. I want to do this, but a little bit better. So it was wonderful. So kind of grateful that I am able to kind of witness those things and keep me interested and pushing me and light up that fire in me to keep wanting to do what I'm doing. So
that's awesome. That's like a mouthful of everything that you said. So we're going to go ahead and bring Nicte on so she could tell us about her week and how amazing it was, I'm sure, on the West Coast.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes, mujeres. Am I good? My internet glitched out.
Oh, no, you're fine. Tell us about your week. How's it going?
It's been super busy. Work has been picking up, so it's been really good. Trying to get a lot of things done before the year end. I've had several projects for clients, so try to get all that into the works and staying focused, and kind of really having to be more of the making sure everything with our projects are aligned because we have several things moving. So that's been that, and I think just overall the week was good. Nothing bad. It was just normal, but I think it was still challenging coming back to reality after a great week when we had our vacation. So I've realized that it's really hard to switch things off and on from the highs of highs and not doing anything and just having fun to then going back to reality. So it is definitely a transition, and because I don't work for someone else, and with what I do, like if I don't have a senior designer yet, that's going to be my goal for next year. But when I do take time off, I am reliant, or my company relies a lot on me to do some of those things. There's other things that I do have employees to help me out on, but for the big main parts, it's me. So it is definitely different when you take a time off from your employer to where I'm at now, but I know that it's only temporary. So I am embracing that and really using this time as a reflection for what I need to have in place when I do get to that point next year. I am putting it on paper and willing it, and that's going to happen. So I'm excited about that and just being thankful, working on that thankfulness, even when everything's kind of like hectic and crazy. So yeah, overall thankful to be alive and to have had a normal week. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
How about you, Viviana?
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. As you were talking, it made me think, and Maddie too, the stuff Maddie was saying, just the whole gratitude piece and I think the three of us this week kind of touched on our purpose, like what are we doing? And, are we staying aligned with who we are? And I think for me, typical week, I would say, I notice when people call me, I'm always saying, just organizing my life. That's like my go-to answer. But I realize that I'm probably never going to end organizing because I just like, there's a lot of moving parts to me. And so like, I'm always trying to make it better. Um, so that's good. Just to like, even yesterday I was at the office a couple of hours by myself, and it was just nice to be able to just kind of sit in that space by myself, because I'm usually in there with multiple people at one time. So I didn't realize how much I had missed it because I had not done it in a long time. So that's good. Also, um with our topic today, we're talking about finances, and we're talking about just better planning. And I'm excited too, because I think I shared with you guys my daily planner that I have. So I have like 3 more weeks of it, and then I get a new one. So I'm like super, and it's like the new one that I got is like a rich purple like this, like it's super nice. So I'm looking forward to that. I was able to spend some time with my mom and my grandmother, which I don't get to do a lot. I realized that I work a lot, but but I think I get lost sometimes because it doesn't feel like work. Um, this week, I was talking to someone about me potentially getting some type of licensure, and he said, "Oh, but you can, work in the school system while you do certain things." And I was like, "Yeah, but I love like my entrepreneurship freedom." And he was like, "I get it, right?" And I just think that I'm truly in my element, and I'm able to make a lot of connections for other people because of where I'm at every day. And so just a thankful moment. And we can go ahead and start on our topic. As we brought this up, like I know it's the beginning of November, and then we, start to make plans for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And, I think the piece that makes more sense is the planning part, right? And Maddie, I'm sure you can talk a little bit more about this, but it's almost like, yes, it's the end of 2023, but let's start planning in 2020 for 2024, so that when it comes, it doesn't hurt as bad. And I think sometimes too, because we grind so hard, we really need to reward ourselves a little bit more frequently in different ways. And I've been able to experience that. Like one day this week, I just felt like I was grinding a lot. And so I compensated myself by, maybe paying extra for a particular meal that I wouldn't have normally had done, but just it wasn't something that was necessarily planned. I just felt like, let me go a little bit above and beyond for myself, because I grind for a purpose, right? And that's part of my compensation. So Maddie, if you could tell us a little bit about how can we save throughout the year, to not wait until the last minute, but still be able to enjoy the months and the weeks while we get to the holidays. Like, let's not just wait until the holidays to, splurge. Can we do that a little bit better throughout the year?
Yeah, I was gonna say, when we talk about savings and doing things better for a particular season or whatever, I do think the planning part plays a big part of it, because you cannot just get to November and say, it's Christmas coming. What can I do to save on Christmas? Well, you got a month, so it's not much that you can do. So definitely, the planning part is going to be huge and is important. I think the first part of it is kind of being aware of where we stand. So I will probably say, like, the first thing that we have to do when we sit down to kind of plan our finances is track our expenses. Kind of sit down and kind of be aware of what's coming in and what's coming out. Like, what are you paying? Sometimes, like, we do a lot of mindless spending. Like, I'm guilty of it. Like, for example, I would probably say my Apple subscriptions is the first thing that comes to mind. Sometimes those things are like automated, and it's like 99 cents and $2.99 and $4.99. And next thing you know, if you sit down and you write those, because I did that last year, I believe it was, and I ended up cutting like a bunch of them. I was like, what the heck are we doing? And it was a bunch of them. And, it was probably like, I don't know, like it came up to like $50 or $60, something like that. But at 99 and 2.99 and 4.99, I mean, like it was a lot of them, and probably half of them we were not even using, you know. So I would say, sit down, track your expenses, kind of sit down with your bank statement, see what comes in and out of your account, what you're paying in and out every month. And that's going to help you, because you can find ways that you can cut things, that you can eliminate, that are not exactly necessary. The next thing that I will probably say is, it sounds easier said than done, but create a budget, kind of be mindful of what you're spending, like there's a rule out there. It's called the 50/30/20 rule. And basically it says, allocate 50% for your necessities, for your needs, actually, 30% for your wants, and then 20% for your savings and your debt. So kind of trying to work with what you're making and say, okay, 50% of what I make is going to go to pay for my essentials. 30% is for, maybe what I want, and 20% savings and debt. And again, the one thing that we have to keep in mind, that every time they give us, like we see these rules and these things, it's just kind of giving us a blueprint. It's not telling you exactly what to do, because, expenses change. Life is life, and life be lifing and changing all the time. So we have no control of what happens. So you can allocate 50% of your wages, this month for this, but then something happens and you need to spend 60%. That's okay. That's what it's all about. It's about, kind of adjusting. I have a whole bunch of stuff that I can talk about, but I kind of want to ask you ladies, before I kind of move into everything else that I have written down, kind of like what you think about tracking the expenses and maybe setting a parameter for your spendings.
I think that I'm not good at setting parameters. I think that I could do a better job. And even though, like, I'm not a shopper, right? Like, I hate to go to the store and buy like girly stuff, like clothes and jewelry and shoes and purses and all the stuff that Maddie goes to the store for. That's not my cup of tea. So I will like this would be me at nighttime, just Amazon. That's what I do. But I find myself finding essentials, but there are times that I do put my shopping cart is there, but I don't make the purchase right away. So I'll kind of go back to it just to make sure that I'm not doing an emotional shop. Because I will buy little oils here and lipsticks and little stuff like that. So I just make sure that it's not an emotional purchase. And then I think I know I don't personally use it, but maybe I need to. I know that there's different applications that allow you to document all of these things. For me, for being a business owner, the one thing that I do organize well is my expenses when it comes to I do a good job at separating my business from my personal. And I literally swipe everything, because I know if I swipe it, it's going to automatically go into my QuickBooks, and my bookkeeper is going to do what she does on her end. So I like that feature. I like the fact that somebody else can do my taxes and all that other stuff, because it would drive me crazy. But I just think that the apps do a good job at putting you in check. Because I know I've seen in social media, because the whole membership thing you were talking about, I've manually checked myself on it, because I'm not big on the membership thing. But I know that there's like an app that you can download that will kind of track your memberships, and it will potentially help you or recognize the ones that you may need to get rid of. So I think the apps are good. What about you, Nicte?
So many good things. I kept like nodding yes, yes, yes. Like both of what you ladies have been saying have been like so on point. And I think that I love I'm going to call it a hack to kind of check yourself as far as like what apps or subscriptions do you have, because we often forget. And I think that that's something that I have done a little bit more on business than on our side, because we don't tend to have too many for us, like as a family, for subscriptions. And a lot of businesses are now going to the subscription model for everything. So one of the things that I've been doing is that I keep track every year. I kind of have like I have a special project management tool that I use where I keep track of all our essential spending for business, what software we need, et cetera, et cetera. But towards the end, before that software renews, I start to ask myself, do we really need this particular membership or subscription for this? Can we condense it into one? So that's always nice. I know that there's been raises in prices for everything. So we've seen a few of the things that we use, like MailChimp, they just raised for like our email system. It's like another $5 a month. So now we're trying to be a little bit more strategic into the tools that we use and making sure that we get the best out of it. Like Maddie was saying too, is this something that this helps or not? The other thing that is kind of related, but not really related, is that yesterday I discovered we're trying to downsize of things. Sometimes we buy things, we don't use it as much, and so we're trying to be smart. And electronics are always tough. You can donate it, but you can also try to sell it yourself. And what I discovered is that Amazon actually has a under the sustainability tab, you kind of have to find it, which is unfortunate, but you can actually sell back some of your, like if you bought an Echo Show or some of the Amazon little things with Alexa, they'll actually buy it back. Even if you bought it from them, yes, but even if you bought one of their systems from somewhere else, they have a trade in option. So you'll actually get some money back from it. And if you wanted to buy an upgrade, you get a discount. But I thought that was a really clever way of us kind of getting some money back from things that we don't use, that we don't need, that could help someone else out that they might use. So, or even if it's not really functioning, they do have a recycling program. So I thought that was nice. I feel that sometimes the more we, I don't know how to say this, se me fue en inglés. Entre más cosas tengamos superficiales, menos cosas lucrativas puedes crear. So like the more superficial stuff, like little materialistic things that you have, yeah, I feel that it kind of dampens on your growth for money and wealth, like in a like a vibe type of way.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
the
know
more
what
you
it
give,
is.
the more you get, right? Is that
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we can give things that we don't use to someone else that might really be needing it at a much affordable price, because it's, what is it, one man's trash, another person's
treasure?
treasure. And so I feel that that is really important too when we think about finances, and even considering not necessarily having to buy everything new, because I think that there's that, especially here in the US, it's that shiny object syndrome that everyone wants to have new, new, new. And if you get something that's perfectly functional and it's used and you save a ton more money, why not go down that route? So those were kind of like my ideas that were kind of meddling in my mind. But I did have a question for you, Maddie, as you were talking about defining a budget. I think when it comes to businesses, especially when they're younger and they're still trying to figure things out, the idea of coming up with a budget, especially if that's not something that you're good at on the personal side, to bring that onto business can be a challenge. So, is there something that you would suggest for businesses to start to come up with a budget for their spending? I love that rule that was it 50/30/20 rule? Would that apply to businesses? And kind of like that's where I was eager to get your idea and insight on.
Not sure if it would apply to the business, because businesses, it's a little bit
So
different, and
different.
it has a lot more moving parts. But I do think, again, I will go back to basics, is tracking your expenses, because a lot of the times it's very easy when, especially if you are running the business, you're running the business, but you need to get this done and that done and that done and that done, and next thing you know, you have, like, if you're like Viviana, you swipe your card 20 times and you're like, 20 times, but because you're not paying attention to what you're doing. So again, be mindful about everything that's coming in and out. And unless like you said, sitting down, what softwares do I need? What do I need to run my business? What is essential? My employees are essential. Paying my, my benefits, paying my, like, what is important? What can you not go without? Like I always say, building a personal budget and like automating your bills or paying your bills. What do you need to pay every month? Your rent, your light, your water, your gas. Okay, those I need to pay. Everything else, if I have to be late 1 month, I can, but these five bills I have to pay every month. So it's kind of like that concept. What is important, what is essential, what needs to happen. And then after that, you can kind of start tying in, everything else. But again, you as a business owner is your job, like one of the things that we always say, when you are establishing a business, create a business plan, because what the business plan allows you to do is know exactly what you're going to need to run your business, what is needed for your day in and day out. So before you get into the business, you already have an idea of what it's going to be like. So being aware and kind of knowing, what to prepare for allows you to be a little bit better prepared. So when you kind of jump into the fire. So, yeah, so a couple of more things that I would probably say is, create an emergency fund. A lot of us, don't do
In a
that.
different bank so you don't touch it.
Yeah.
Whatever works for you, like that. I always say that whatever works for you, because sometimes I've done that. Have a separate account somewhere else. Usually the online accounts work great because you don't have a bank that you can walk in and take the money out. And then if you want to spend it and you need money, like if you have a savings account, not a checking account, but a savings account, you won't have a debit card, you won't have an ATM card if it's an account online. And then to transfer the money in and out, you have to do an electronic transfer. And those electronic transfers can take anywhere from 2 to 3 days. And then if you do it immediately, they charge you a fee for it. So do I want to pay the fee for this money? Am I getting the money because I need it, or am I getting the money because I want to get something? So kind of lets you make all of those decisions. And okay, am I willing to pay this penalty and all of that? So I would say create an emergency fund, whatever works for you. You mentioned, we mentioned online accounts. There's a lot. I keep saying every time we talk a little bit about what's going on in the finance world, that the interest rates right now are really high when it comes to lending. But that means that when your lending rates are high, your investing rates are high too. So you can find a lot of savings accounts out there that are paying a high yield interest. So what that means for you is that the more money you have in the bank, the more interest that you can earn on your money. So for example, I know there's an account that's called or a company called I think it's Sophie or SoFi, SOFI. They have a savings account that doesn't have any minimum balance requirement, and that is earning 4.6 APY, which is pretty good for a savings account. You have Citibank that's paying 5.05 APY. That one requires a 5,000 minimum balance, but they also have a 4.65 APY that doesn't require any minimum balance. So that's just kind of some examples out there of savings accounts that are paying high interest rates. So create an emergency fund, put it somewhere where it's hard for you to touch it, and automate your savings. Pay yourselves. Like we always think about, okay, I gotta pay this, I gotta pay that, I gotta pay yourself. Even if it's only $10. $10 every pay period, $20 a month times 12. That's $240. Just $10 per paycheck every 2 weeks. So whatever works for you, kind of do it an amount that make you or break you, something that doesn't, like doesn't make a dent. And then that way you can put that money aside and you don't even miss it. You don't even know that it is there, and it is building and growing for you. Kind of automate your savings, an automatic transfer or whatever that amount may look like for you, so that you can put money aside, put it in that account, and then you have it whenever you need it.
That's a good idea. That's really good. Because I know, like, for me personally, I'll pay myself, um, but sometimes I don't do the like the savings piece. I could automate my savings, and like even when you said, Enrique says, "¿Qué pasa, huepa?"
Hola, Enrique.
Hi, Maddie and me. I'm not emotional with my wallet, I promise.
Love
Yes,
it.
yes, I love it. But yeah, some things that you were talking about, like the entrepreneurship piece. I think sometimes I think when you're starting off, it's a good idea to kind of maybe go like a month or two, and then set up a maybe more more strategic budget, I would think, because sometimes the money that has to go out, but you don't really know the
What?
money that's gonna come in. So
Yeah.
that sometimes we can't maybe necessarily do a 100% accurate budget, but after now that you're in action and you're selling stuff, then you can kind of set up a budget. And I think too, for me, my budget has changed. It has evolved even throughout a year because I might get like a, big contract, or, in December, that's, my weakest month or whatever. So the budget may change as well by the season. So I thought those were some good points that you made in reference to, just being abreast of the financial world. As you ladies know, I don't really watch the news, and that's why I like it when Maddie kind of talks about this. And I do listen to the headliners and I read the headliners, but not in full detail. But it's just kind of good to know certain things because this is an opportunity to put, to open. I've heard even people get CDs now where the CD was not a thing to do, a year or two. So I just think it's important for us to kind of be abreast. And also, Nick, that when you were talking, it made me think about sometimes it's good to reevaluate that every quarter or whatever in reference to what software you're using, because there might be a new software that's out that you might get a deal for a year subscription to replace your MailChimp or something like that. Or even
Yeah.
today with the use of artificial intelligence, maybe, we're paying for a pro version of whatever, but we only need the basic one because we could do it in other ways. um I think that that's important too, to be able to save money. And I think what you ladies were talking about last was the purpose, right? Like as I'm buying gifts and I'm buying stuff, like what is my purpose? Like, like re-gifting gifts, right? Like you were saying, Nicte, or doing a DIY project for someone.
You're
Like,
stealing my thunder, Viviana.
oh, go ahead. But little thing, it just made me think about that. Like, what is my purpose of giving, and why am I giving it to you, and in what capacity? Go ahead, Maddie. What do you think?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I had a bunch of like ideas, to kind of help with the gifting part, and like that was one of the things. But I wanted to say also, let's see what else I have on my list. So let's see. Um, I would probably say, cutting expenses of things that you can control, because there's some things that you cannot control. But before I get into that, I kind of wanted to address, before we deviate too much, what we were talking about doing the business plan, and you said kind of wait. It's always difficult when you start a new business to kind of try to calculate what your budget may be, your working budget, because remember, the first year of any business is going to be your biggest expense because you're brand new into this. So everything that you're putting, so maybe your first year is not going to be your year to create a budget. Maybe set a limit for yourself. Okay, this is my first year, and I'm trying not to go above this. Kind of give yourself a line, of okay, I can get to this, but then that's it, instead of a budget, because the first year is always going to be extremely hard. Um, so again, trying to cut expenses from whenever we can. So one of the things that I've been doing, that I've been mindful about doing, is bringing my lunch to work, like cooking for myself, and bringing food to work, because anytime I buy food outside, it's going to cost me anywhere from $8 to $15 for one meal. And with $15, if you think about it, you can spend $15 and you can probably bring food to work for 3 days, 3 or 4 days. So what you spend in one meal in one day, you can probably spend for 3 days and kind of save some of that money. I do like to buy lunch outside every once in a while. So probably once a week, I will go and order food somewhere. But for the most part, I try to bring food with me to kind of save money on that end. I was kind of reading an article, and it says that the average cost of food for one person a month is anywhere from $212 to $405. So imagine, and that's just food to eat normally at home. That's not adding anything that you add when you have to buy food at work or eat out. So again, be mindful of that, because it is very, very, very easy to spend that money. And yes, Starbucks, like, thank God I'm not bougie when it comes to coffee. When it comes to coffee, I will buy 7-Eleven coffee any day. Wow, $1 cup. I don't care. Coffee is coffee to me.
Yeah. We've decided to make coffee at home for that very purpose because we don't calorie pack it, but we can also spend a fraction of what you would spend on just even one coffee and make coffee for a week or,
Because
you know.
Starbucks is like the price of a whole, like, almost meal, right?
Meal for
Mhm.
one coffee. Exactly.
I only buy
Exactly.
it when people give me a gift card.
Yes, and same here, same here. And I actually found this coffee. I don't know if you guys seen it on Facebook. It's called Javi. It's
Yes.
Javi, and I love it. It's like concentrated. It's like a concentrated bottle, and you put 2 tablespoons of that into your whatever, and you make coffee. So for me, I drink protein, my protein shake. So what I started doing is buying my vanilla protein, and then I put 2 tablespoons of the coffee, and I make my own lattes, and they taste delicious. And then because I use the protein, it's good for you. So yeah, that has been my new addiction. So yeah, so I think I paid like I want to say it was like $40 or $45 for 4 bottles. But again, it's a constant. I probably will have coffee for a very long time because you use 2 tablespoons every day, and I probably drink 1 cup of coffee a day. So it works for me. So and it's not too expensive. But yeah, meal prepping is a great way of cutting back on our expenses. Also, Viviana, you mentioned earlier that you will put stuff in your cart and you will wait and you will not buy right away. Anytime we're making a big purchase, there's something called a 30-day rule. And what that does for you is kind of if you need to have a big purchase, whether you want to buy a TV, a car, or whatever it is that you're buying, think about it for at least 30 days. And if
What
you
about stuff that's in the cart that has been there for 6 months or so, and I
then,
just put it for
then
like
you don't
save
need it.
for later, but
Then you
I'm not
don't.
ready to remove it from the cart yet. It's this really cute ottoman. It's an ottoman, but it turns into a bed. So like if I feel like taking a nap at work, I can.
The wonderful thing about Amazon is that it has a wish list, and you can put it in your wish list, and it'll stay there for years and you don't even know. So
Okay, I'll do that.
so yeah, so think about it for 30 days, and then if after 30 days you still feel passionate about it, then kind of revisit it again. But like you said, a lot of the times we do emotional purchasing, and okay, I feel like I need this now or whatever. And it's okay, like you said, it's okay to reward ourselves, to kind of we work hard, and every once in a while, whether it is doing something nice for ourselves or buying something for ourselves, like sometimes, I love purses, like I don't get me wrong, I will not spend $1,000 on a purse. No, that is not me. I will not. I couldn't live with myself. But I do, like I'll probably spend, I think the most I spent for a purse is like maybe $200. But so I try to buy myself 1 to 2 purses a year, good ones. So that's kind of like where I go. And sometimes, if I go over 3, I'm like, oh my God, I need to stop. So I kind of check myself. So, but I like to do that for myself because, I work, I get dressed every day, and I have to carry a bag with me. So I want a nice bag, so it depends. I know for you, Nick, that you work at home, so it might be a little bit different. A bag might not be what you are wanting to buy.
I only get to spread it around the house. Just pretend I put it on.
Like you should see what she's wearing underneath that sweater.
What is it? Business on the top, home style comfort on the bottom. Come on,
Don't
you
tell,
know you have
don't
the
tell me
mullet?
you have PJs underneath, Nick.
No, I have sweatpants. I cannot live on PJs all day.
Sweatpants is the same thing, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but see, it kind of matches my 80s style kind of top, style. I did have a question for you, Maddie, since we are talking about expenses and we've been talking about Amazon. Amazon should have sponsored this
They
episode for
should
us.
have.
But I was wondering, now that at what is it, Prime Day or Black Friday, like all those deals are coming up, we are pretty good about when we spend stuff, and we kind of do like what Viviana was saying, like you think about, do I really need this? If not, I'll put it on a wish list. And sometimes I forget. but we're really trying to be a little bit more strategic because we notice sometimes we buy something out of, oh, it's on sale. And we don't do the, do we really need this? And it's not big things, it's small things, but they add up, you know? So
Mhm.
I buy a towel that I didn't really need, you know, like all of those things. So what would you suggest for people? Because it is a very tempting time for people, especially with the sales. And sometimes it's not even a big sale. You might just save $5, and the fact that you think you're getting a sale will make you buy. So I'm curious for your expertly advice.
I don't know about all of that. But anyway, I will probably say, again, planning. Because even if you're planning on going out there to buy on Black Friday, you have to be strategic of where you're going because, you have to make the lines and you have to, I mean, like nowadays it's not as bad as it used to be because now they do a lot of the, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Cyber this and Cyber that. So you can do a lot of your shopping online as well. But you have to, like they may only have 100 of this item, so you have to kind of be the first one online, to be able to buy it. And it's kind of one of those things where you have to put everything that's on sale on one list and then focus on the one that you want so that you are able to get it. So it's the same concept, kind of sit down, see what you actually need, what you can afford, because you might need 10 things, and out of the 10 things you can only afford 5. Okay, so which 5s am I going to get, which ones I'm going to concentrate on, and then just plan on it so that you can buy it, for a certain time. That's kind of, what I will probably say, because it's very easy to go to the store when everything is on sale and find yourself with a bunch of things that you really didn't, that you really don't need or didn't need. So yeah, definitely. And I will probably say use coupons. Sometimes, like we think we may be too good for coupons. No, like, I'm not a couponer or anything like that, but like I do my shopping at Full Lion. It's a supermarket that's right here, and they have like a little MVP card. They put stuff on sale. They have like little flyers of stuff that's on sale. And every time I go into the supermarket, I kind of look at what's on sale. And okay, if I'm looking for a particular product, do they have a knockoff brand that's on sale? Like I'm very open to, like, I don't have to buy name brand stuff. There's certain things, don't get me wrong, there's certain things that I will not compromise on. And I've always said it, like my main thing is paper towels. I will not buy the cheap paper towels because they don't work for me. So I will splurge on the expensive one. But then there's a bunch of things that I will buy whatever name brand is on sale. Like I'm not married to anything. So, but my paper towels and my cheese have to be singles and my Bounty. That's it. But I mean, anything else I will compromise on. So, be mindful of those things. What's on sale? What can I save money on? Whatever. Save on here so you can splurge over there, So, whatever works for you. But yeah, use coupons. Like Viviana mentioned earlier, be creative with the gift ideas. One thing that people love, it's kind of, or I'm not going to say people love, but it means something, or it comes across different when you take your time to prepare a gift that may be personalized, whether it is buying something simple and putting a picture. Those are gifts that they were not last minute gifts. That person put their time and their thought into those gifts. So maybe try planning on doing personalized gifts. Maybe doing stuff with your hands. Like I love crafting. So I remember last year, no, the year before, when I joined my team, when I moved back from Hampton to Chesapeake, where I'm working now. For my team, we did a little gift exchange, and there's about 12 of us. I was like, I don't have time, to buy a big gift for everybody right now. So I bought ornaments, like wooden ornaments, and I put the name of the branch on there, and I put like Gray Bridge Team, and I hand painted them, personalized them, and I gifted each person one ornament, and they loved it, so it was very special to them. So personalized gifts, whether it is you painting something, you doing something, for those people that have children, people love stuff made by kids, and especially if you make it for, whether it is for grandma, for auntie, or, something with the kids picture in it, those are wonderful. So I would say be creative with your gift ideas, personalize them, and that those, may be more meaningful than putting $100 in an envelope for somebody. What do you
Interesting. I
think?
love it. So what do you normally do, Nicte, for like the holidays? Are you the one that already from 2022, you got your plan for 2023?
Nope. Nope, not. I think we've become more focused on experiences instead of giving gifts. When it comes to our son, like it'll be different because he's kind of in that age where like these little things mean something for him. So usually around the time when we have the Black Friday deals, we'll kind of start looking for some things for him. But we are kind of more intentional about what we give him. And for us, it's more of experiences, really, whether it's like a nice dinner for each other or this, one present that we might give ourselves like a little earlier and say, hey, this will be your Christmas present because, we found it at that moment or whatnot. And so I think for us, it's been more of that. And if we do things, they are like handmade. I might, have something with our son made. I know one year I had like my son paints some of the like on a little canvas, and we kind of gave it to the family, and I had him paint on a little book cover, and like that was really meaningful. And it was nice because he enjoyed doing that, so it made it a little bit more personalized and not something that you could get anywhere else, which I think that has more value to. So that's really what we've been doing. I'm just kind of trying to keep it more meaningful and intentional, and also thinking, I think sometimes we are conditioned because just how marketing and advertising works, that it's this season, we're going to have to spend money on each other, instead of thinking about like, what can we do that's a memorable thing, or go spend time together as a family, and it just shifting our perspective in that.
Yeah, and I think the gifts have gotten
Yeah,
like
I think
really
that's important.
ridiculous. Gifts have gotten really ridiculous nowadays. Like the young kids or like the teenagers, they're like, oh yes, I want an iPhone. An iPhone costs $2,000. Like I love you, but I'm not gonna spend mortgage money just to buy you a gift. You know what I'm saying? So I think that has gotten like also a little bit out of control. So like you said it there, we have to be mindful of that, and maybe if you have a kid that wants an expensive gift, it's like save your money. Let's see how soon you can save your money and put your pennies together so that you can buy yourself the gift, and then that gift may take on a different meaning for that child.
Hmm. Yeah, that is true. The gifts are getting more and more expensive, especially for the teenagers. I know for me, right now it's a little bit challenging because my son is 13 and the other one is 19. And I don't want to just give them money because I think it loses, like it's not personal, Um, so I've been kind of going online. Where I want to give them something that's a little bit more emotional, more not so material like. I know Enrique said that he'll tell his family members what he wants each year, and is usually something that will help him grow the business. Or he said we could put the kids back on rotary phones. I don't think I'll be good with that. Like I won't be able to do a screenshot of anything. I'm gonna send Enrique my wish list with my ottoman. Maybe I can take it off my cart now. But I think that's a good idea because I think sometimes people buy things for people and they end up not using them. So like my kids already know, like I love the lotions, the candles, stuff like that. That's a go-to. But that's not a bad idea because people do it for baby showers and they do a wish list. So why can't we do it for the holidays? So that might be
And
good.
Amazon lets you create that gift list. I know me and my family, we tend to do a gift exchange, un angelito. That's what we kind of call it. And we do that every year because that allows us to buy one good gift for everybody. And like our budget usually goes between $100 to $150. And we buy one good gift. And then we do the gift exchange, and and now like the kids are old enough where the kids have gotten into it, and like the teenagers, they love, okay, I got $100 to spend and buy a gift for this person, so it's always nice to see how creative they get with it. And there's an app that you can actually, like, we use it to shuffle the names. You put everybody's name on there and everybody's cell phone number, and then you kind of send it through, and everybody gets a name at their text, and then everybody can create a wish list, and it's tied to Amazon and all of those apps. You create your wish list, so whoever you got for your angelito, you click on their name and it opens up a list of the stuff that they want. So that's kind of how we've been doing it. We've been doing that for like the past 3 years or so with the app, because I just found the app a couple of years ago. But yeah, the angelito is what works for us because there's so many of us, so that's what we've been doing every year.
Yeah, our family's small, so we don't even do the angelitos. But I know somewhere in my past life, like I was working somewhere and we did the gift exchange, and I think that's pretty good. I think also like a group giving, so like and I guess this kind of works with the parents and the kids, where or my kids might buy something that's from both of them, and they kind of put their money together to give it to me or something like that. I think
Oh,
the group thing is nice too. I know last year I think I had mentioned it last year to you guys, but I did the personalized calendars for the year, and it just had pictures of. Sometimes I put like whoever's birthday it was that month, like I put their picture for that particular month. And I know I gave one to like my mom and my grandmother, and it was like all the grandkids and great grandkids pictures of them. So that was something that I enjoyed doing.
Shutterfly is amazing. So Shutterfly is very cost efficient, and they have a lot of personalized gifts and things that mementos that can mean a lot, especially to our close family members, that they would really really appreciate. I also want to give like some savings ideas. I know, like, we said planning for 2024. So like if you want to plan for 2024, maybe kind of set a goal for yourself. There is a 2740 rule, it's called. So if you save 2740 per day, you will have $10,000 in 1 year. That translates to $205 a week, or $411 biweekly if you can. Okay. You can also do 1370 per day, and that will be $102 a week, or $205 every 2 weeks. And that gives you $5,000 at the end of the year. So that one's kind of a little steep. They also have, I actually just got myself a binder, and he has 100 little envelopes, and it has the number 1 to the number 100, and then you would put the amount of the number that it says there in dollars, and if you fill up your binder, you'll have $5,000 when you're done. So in the number 1 slot, you put $1. In the number 2 slot, you put $2, and so on and so forth until you fill it up. So I've been doing it for about a month and a half ish, and I'm doing pretty good. So I'm pretty proud of myself. So but now I ran out of all the little numbers. I only have the big numbers left. So like after every payday, I will come home and fill up 3 or 4 slots, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing good. And now it's like I only have for one. So it's kind of sad, but at the same time, like I'm really proud that I am, maybe like not buying that coffee or not eating out, or okay, I have $10. Okay, I need another $20. Let me put that in, one of the envelopes. So I'm trying to like work really hard, and I'm hiding it. So I'm hoping that my husband doesn't see the show, because he doesn't know that I'm doing this. So it's hidden somewhere in the house, but he doesn't know where it is. And the kids hopefully won't see this either, so but yeah, so that's kind of something that I started doing. So hopefully at the end of filling up the binder, I'll have $5,000. And then The last one that I found was the $42 a week, or $84 biweekly, and then that gives you $1,000 in 6 months, or 2,000 if you do it for the full year. So those are kind of, sometimes we just need to break things down like little bite size so that they can make sense. Because sometimes we say to ourselves, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna save $1,000," and we're just thinking about the big $1,000 number, and we're like, "Oh my God, that's impossible." But then you get your paycheck or your W-2s at the end of the year, and you're like, "Oh God, I made $65,000 and I couldn't save 1,000." So it's one of those things that we have to put into perspective. It's doable if we can work on it and if we can focus on it. You can do it. Um, and then two more things that I kind of want to mention, because I know we're running out of time. So the last thing that I want to say is take care of your credit. It is important. Sometimes we don't think about credit. I know, again, by no means am I perfect. I messed up my credit so many times. I even had to file for bankruptcy at one time in my life. So, you live and learn. But you have to take care of your credit. Your credit allows you to kind of be able to save money when you make those big purchases. So by taking care of your credit, not only are you getting better opportunity to get a better price, but you'll be saving money as well. So, one rule of thumb: take care of your credit, and be mindful of it. And then lastly, I know for those of us that work for an employer, or even the ones that, for you guys that are self-employed, investments for retirement. Kind of think about investing for retirement, whether it is a 401k plan. If you work for an employer, a lot of employers will match whatever contribution you put in your 401k. Do it. That is free money. I know my employer will match up to 6% of everything that I put on there. So if I put 6%, they will match 6%. So that's 6% that they're giving me. That's free money. Do it. Use it. Every time you get an increase on your wages, increase your contribution to your 401k as well, and save for your retirement. For those of you that are self-employed, you can open up an IRA at any financial institution, and you can contribute. If you're under 50, it's $6,500 a year. If you're over 50, it's $7,000 a year. Do it, and again, be automated with that. Think about your future. I think they say that it takes about a little bit over $1 million to make it through retirement. And I very seldomly you meet somebody that retires and they tell you, "Oh yeah, I have $1 million saved up." So do the best that you can so that you can get as close to that number, so that you don't have to struggle too much when you do retire, or you can retire and still be comfortable. So, and I think that's everything I had on my list. So
That's good. It makes me think about, just talking to the senior citizens that I come in contact with, including my grandmother. But they always say, I'm on limited resources. That's like the thing that they say. And I think we have to do a good job again, as Maddie always says, to educate our young people as well, to have to invest in themselves, to invest in other people as well, and not to be greedy with their money either, and to learn how to budget that money, and not hoard it either, because some of them may want to do that and only spend it on themselves. So I think it's just kind of educating that. And like Enrique said, it boils down to the relationship that we have with money. Is it a positive one or is it a negative one? Can we have these conversations with ourselves about our money? And I think it's okay, like you say, Maddie, like we all make mistakes. You just, kind of keep it moving. You can kind of, just kind of keep it, make the adjustment, as I always say, and just make your best better. I know for me this year, one thing that I did different is because I'm really serious about spending more time in Colombia. So I knew that I had to do something. And so like every probably like twice a month I've been doing it. I send a little bit of money over there. And so I joke with my cousin all the time because I'm like, I'm a millionaire in Colombia, but so it just kind of feels good to be able to put money in there, and it kind of forces me to plan to go to Colombia. And then when I get there, I'll have some money there to spend. So it just kind of feels good, and it's really, $50 here is a lot of money over there. So it's a feel good moment as well for me to be able to do that. And then Enrique also said, you can also use your permanent life insurance policy to save even more. So that's good as well.
All really amazing insight and tips today. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Mujeres, and Enrique, of course. This has all been really, really helpful. And I think that hopefully it helps us all stay really good perspective for the holiday season with all the spending habits, but also for the new year. So thank you so much, Maddie, for sharing all this.
Yes, so good, so good. Good, good, good. Getting great information. Nicte, did you add on to your poem?
Was I supposed to? No?
Yeah, we needed
Yes,
like another
you
index
need an
card.
extra flashcard. I mean,
Wait, what about your poem? You
I
haven't done
have
your
mine
poem.
ready.
Well, go ahead, ma'am.
That's why I asked about yours.
No, I
'Cause
did
have
not.
mine.
I failed the assignment this week.
Okay. So before I do my poem for the week, I just want to share this book with you guys. It's called Decolonizing Wealth, and the author is Edgar Villanueva. I've been to I heard him speak. He signed the book for me, which was like super exciting. So when I read his name, right? He wrote it to me. But when I read his name, Edgar Villanueva, I was like, oh my God, he's Latino. He's not, he's indigenous. So it was kind of like a lesson for me to not to assume, but I didn't assume. I asked. But he kind of talks a lot about how we view money. How we view money, and the history of money. He talks a lot about philanthropy, which I'm gonna like start to talk to my children more about philanthropy and about giving back, and that you don't have to be a millionaire to be a philanthropist. You can give in any capacity. So I would encourage you guys to read the book because it's awesome. And he goes straight to like no tiene pelos en la lengua. How do you say no tiene pelos en la lengua in English?
Doesn't sugarcoat it,
Yeah.
kind
Oh,
of.
that's a good one. Yeah, he doesn't sugarcoat. He goes straight to it. So it was very, very enlightening. Are you guys ready for my poem?
yes. And Mark is on standby too. So I think, this is the first time we're going to bring our producer out in the camera because he's going to say it out for everybody to hear. So get ready, Mark.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'm gonna blush, okay? And I'm gonna look down the entire time because I need training. All right. So it's called I don't even know what the title is, but I'm just gonna read it. ¿Qué pasa, mujer? We're from different places, different spaces, different shapes, different accents, different curves, different origins, different experiences. We're ¿Qué pasa, mujer? Nicte is of colors, Maddie is of poems, Viviana is of making connections. We are ¿Qué pasa, mujer? Nicte is from different places. She's into cars, animals, and acceptance. Maddie is from two places, NY and DR. She's into money and fitness. Viviana is from COLOMBIA. She's into puzzles, education, and connecting the dots. We're different, we're alike, we're mujeres, we're united. We are the Pot TV show ¿Qué pasa, mujer? That's it.
That was really good.
Oh,
I was
I
really nervous when I wrote it.
I peeped the COLOM, and then you say I'm into puzzles. I'm like, look at you being creative.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I was like
And I
nervous when I
love how you
first wrote it,
connected it.
and then it just kind of flowed later.
That's awesome.
Right. That's
That's
awesome. Great
awesome.
job.
I love it. I love it. Oh, I love how you snap for yourself.
That's right.
Yeah, this is my first time.
That was awesome.
All right, Mark, we're ready for yours.
Did somebody ring? Did somebody call?
Hi, Mark. Go, go.
We're
Hey
ready.
there, glad to be here. Looking like Santa Claus today, but I'm going to get this haircut on a couple of days and everything, so I'm waiting for that and everything. But yeah, I went ahead and wrote something. I don't not nearly as good as Viviana's, but I think it's decent. It was based on a conversation that I had with my dad and everything. So here it goes, and here it goes. Nothing, but here we go. Seems like the revolution is never over, whether you want freedom to find a way to recover from repression or bad love. Was thinking about this because I saw an article about the fight between the CWP and the Klan in the late 70s. Was talking to Dad about toxic lies and even more horrible goodbyes. Seems like history keeps repeating the tragic mistakes of the past. Whether Palestine or Ireland, MS or cancer, tired of all the bad news, can't we just have some positive views? It's the holidays, and all I want for Christmas is the peace dove and a truly wonderful love. Am I asking for too much for myself? Okay, maybe a trip to an island cove.
Oh, that was really good.
Awesome. Mark wants to go to Isla Verde.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where we're
Thank
going
you,
next
Mark, for
with Miss
sharing that with
Vanessa.
us.
No problem.
Yes.
Nicte,
Travel
you
show.
have your poem handy too?
I mean, I can reread mine. It's
Please
super
read
short.
it. Read it so we have everybody in one place. So reread yours.
Okay. I can read it really slow, so it sounds like it's longer. No. Okay. Beauty fades, but our brains can blossom. Never let anyone's opinion, family or not, let you feel that you're anything but awesome. Your face is not a cake. Don't cover it in layers that hide its true beauty. And we'll pretend I said a little bit more after that.
No, that's great. I love the layers.
Well, I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you for indulging me, and and hopefully, like through the exercise, you realize that you guys are more creative than what you think you are. Sometimes we see people doing things out there, and you're like, oh, I wish I could do what they do, and you can. You just gotta, practice a little bit. And I'm very proud of everyone. I'm a proud mama.
Thank you, Maddie. Thank you for pushing us. This was awesome. I really loved hearing everyone's too.
Yeah, that was really good. Do we get one of yours too, since you are the star of poetry?
I don't know. I kind of want to end it with you guys. You guys did a really good job, and I'm really proud. So, yeah, I talked all show long about finances. So, I did Viviana's job today, and then you guys did my job. So I'm okay with it. I love it.
Oh, I love it.
All right.
You got the finger
Well,
snaps.
thank you. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and we'll see you again next Sunday at 4:00 Eastern Standard Time. Que tengan buena
Ciao.
semana.
Gracias. Have a great week.
I can't believe the holidays are already here. I have so many people I need to buy for. I don't even know where to start. How am I able to afford all these gifts for everybody on my list?
Have you completed the first step? Have you made a budget?
I haven't. I thought budgeting was only for paying bills.
Creating a budget, especially during the holidays, helps you keep track of your spending. Once you figure out how much you want to spend, then just make a list for everyone you want to buy gifts for.
Well, that doesn't help. I have way too many people on my list.
You don't have to buy gifts for everyone on your list. If you're crafty, handmade presents can be very thoughtful, but still inexpensive. It's easy to be swept up in the consumerism of it all, but sometimes we have to take a step back and remember what this is all about.
The holiday cheer.
focusing on enjoying quality time with your loved ones without spending any money, now that's how you stay out of debt.
Having an emergency fund as a freelancer is critical. Here are the steps that you can take to create one. Determine how big of an emergency fund you need. To do so, calculate your monthly expenses and determine exactly what you would need in case of an emergency. Then come up with a savings plan. Based on your previous calculations, how much can you contribute to your emergency fund? Reduce unnecessary expenses. If you can't contribute anything or very little, then it's time to reduce your unnecessary expenses. Look at your budget plan and see where you can cut costs. Automate your savings. Set up monthly direct debits from your main account into your emergency fund. And finally, keep growing the fund. Being able to cover emergencies for months is a lot better than being able to cover them for weeks.
Are just so impressed with them. Like I said, we've been with them for years. I will recommend and refer anyone to them. We stand by A+ Academics. They're the best.
A+ tutorial really did help me with all my grades. They all went up when I came to this place. And I would say I recommend this school to everyone.
So it's a really good environment to be in, especially for me because it makes me look up to my parents.
If you have students that need academic help, A+ Academics is the place to be. A+ Academics, what a great place to go for academics.
It's just a really great place to learn.